bienvenidos a otra historia de todas las historias que contamos todo el tiempo acerca de nuestra gente. Y no se les olvide que cada historia que contamos es una historia que está pasando en California, en Texas, en todas partes de los Estados Unidos, en Chicago, en todas partes. Así que le doy la bienvenida a Raúl Aguirre, la voz, en Arizona Barrio Stories. Don't forget to download the Latino USA television app where you can watch all the programs and all the interviews that we do across the state. And we thank you for doing that. We have a great audience also on Chicano Hollywood. Make sure you check out Roku and Apple and all the applications where you can see us. But download the app and you can check this out. Today we have a great guest, Isabel Garcia. She is the daughter of a union organizer, Rudy, and Carmen, very involved in so many years, decades of work for our community. She's a lawyer, an advocate, an activist, internationally recognized for immigration work. She was also the public defender, the federal public defender for many years here in Tucson. And also, she's part of a great group that I call Las Mujeres de Manso, from Manso Area Council in Barrio Hollywood, where they started the very first, that I can recall, the very first organized protection of undocumented people and refugees from Central America. Isabel, comadre, qué gusto tenerte aquí en el programa de Arizona Barrio Stories.
Gracias, Raúl. It's wonderful to be here, platicar contigo.
Pues mira, tú tienes un transcurso tremendo con tu papá, Rudy, que estuvo organizando y trabajando con los mineros. Tu mamá, que el otro día la soñé y se veía muy contenta, que esté bien en el cielo. Carmen tenía su lipstick y está muy peinadita y bien bañadita y cambiadita. So it filled my heart because, you know, your mom was so active in so many ways as you have been. Pero cuéntanos esa trayectoria tan importante tuya de tantos años.
Pues gracias, Raúl. Híjole, es una larga historia por mis padres, porque mi mamá y mi papá, ellos son realmente el enfoque, ¿no? Mucha gente resulta en su vida política por un evento, una marcha, or this happened, o algo pasó.
An injustice of some sort?
No, yo crecí con mi papá y mi mamá metiendo a todo el mundo a la casa, blancos, negros, indígenas, mexicanos, eran organizadores de todo. Fueron president of the Women's Auxiliary League del American Little League. El Little League, ¿no? Del barrio mexicano. There was only one that was Mexican, ¿no?
Jugábamos contra nosotros nomás.
Sí, bueno, no, pero we didn't have a field.
Right.
We didn't have a field. So mi papá le pidió allí al principal Hollinger permiso de utilizar Government Heights. That was the school I went to. Did you go to Government Heights?
No.
Bueno, so they loaned him the field so that they could practice. And so we had a field. Well, one day the principal decided to check it out. And he saw that my dad had 2 African-American boys. And he kicked us out. He made up some reason and said, no, you can't be here anymore. And that school is named for him. That's another thing we have to deal with in the South Side. It's called Hollinger, and it breaks my heart every time. They were the ones that hit kids. He, hit my brothers and sister. Pero mi papá y mi mamá, they were like a legal aid office. No. I mean, my mother was the first and only one in her family to graduate high school in 1950 or something from Tucson High. All her sisters, her brother, nadie graduó. So she did. I mean, she should have gone to the university, but there was no opportunities. Y mi papá se vino de Naco. So because of him, I knew a lot of history. Because of him, we had a fight in us. My mom had a fight too, but she was a Chicana. She was 4 generations here, and we're whipped. Into shape. At Carrillo School, she always recounted the story of Juanito that sat behind her that was slapped every day.
hit with
because he spoke Spanish. ¿Te imaginas that trauma you have? Well, when I went to Wakefield Middle School, I had a little bit of a trauma. I had my dad lower the radio cuando llegaba a la escuela. I mean, that was terrible. And then in our
handbook... You mean lower the radio because he had it in Spanish?
Ajá, todo abuelo, right? Y luego...
Bájale, y ahora, donde quiera, right? Kind of I hear the old timers go, mira, qué ruidajo traen, you know, because we used to lower it.
Right,
different
but in
reasons.
Spanish, yeah. So in our handbook at Wakefield, it said no foreign languages spoken on the grounds. So if we spoke Spanish, we were put into detention.
No recess.
So, I mean, we see now what the fights of my father and mother did, because now what do we have?
Right.
We have folklorico, we have mariachi in our schools.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unheard of, right? We had to go to Mexico. Well, as a lot of us Mexican Americans say, we Mexicanized the United States.
Absolutely.
We Chicanos have Mexicanized.
You know, that's something that
in a lot of ways. We're the one, my mom had to fight that racism, right? And so my mother's very clear to state the papers don't matter. En ese entonces, it didn't matter that Johnny and my mom had papers, they were born here and stuff. They were Mexican.
Right.
Esta es una invención about you don't have papers. Right. It's the same way to keep us. Well, our immigration history, I have to tell everybody, is based on the hatred of Mexicanos. To prevent our entry, to deport us, and to punish us. And we punish big time here in Tucson because we have Operation Streamline that just was in apogeo.
Exactly.
Before the COVID, you know? 180 people, 90 people in one courtroom giving up all their rights and pleading guilty to illegal entry. So
in mass.
And so
no due process.
Tontos, exactly. Right. It's like I tell people, okay, los papeles, yes, they're important because they're a way to defend yourself. But do African Americans with their papers, do they bode well in this country? No. No. So it's una invención, no? It's a social construct.
And you're involved on the Justice for All because that Operation Streamline that just says bust, I don't know, 90 people and you all have to say guilty or something else.
Wait. I got to stop you there because you're mistaking immigration deportation proceedings from a criminal proceeding. We've been preventing, deporting, right. And now we've criminalized people for years. Now, who wants to support somebody with a criminal record? I know, because they're criminal. Whatever. You know what the mass prosecution is for the federal courts? Illegal entry and re-entry.
Right.
That's the most prosecuted in the country. People need to know that.
And I think
what's most prosecuted in USA versus Isabel Garcia with a criminal record for sitting here. Let's say I was deported through 2007 through Nogales. Didn't know I was formally deported because now they've made it easy. Y me encuentran aquí en tu oficina and they can barge in and illegally search me, and it doesn't matter. My identity is never suppressible, so I get 2 to 20 years. It's a felony if I've been previously deported.
But didn't used to be a felony, right?
Yes, in 1950s, los racistas changed it from North Carolina, said, no, we've got it used to be a crime to re-enter. Now it's
was it a misdemeanor to re-entry before?
No.
It always has been a felony?
Absolutely. It's just we've never applied it.
It wasn't enforced.
Until the late 90s and then su apogeo with, all the operations that go under Republican or Democrat administration. No ha importado. Nosotros estamos los únicos, los de la frontera, fighting this. So I know I've jumped a whole
And for people that don't know, we're 60 miles from the border, by the way. And you jumped a lot because
my parents, I want to tell you about what my father did. I told you about the Little League, right?
Right.
Well, they kicked us out of the field, okay? So what were we going to do? So when my dad was already politically involved, he knew Kirk Storch, a white city councilman on the city council. And he went to him and said, hey, we need a field. And he says, well, this corner here is owned by the city. So my dad went to the city council, we need a park. And they said, no.
You don't need a park.
No, well, not yet. It might take years or whatever, no? It used to be an old barracks. So my dad said, pues no, we're going to organize and take it over. He organized the families con picos y palas and, you know, the wheel. Y we descended on a Saturday morning para limpiar el lugar, except the barracks foundations. Y rodearon los policías y rodearon. And then they left us alone and they started the park. Now it's the Rudy Garcia Park. We never even asked for it to be named after my father, although it's the right thing to do because they were trying to name it after Joe Garciola.
I remember they did that. And they put up the sign and then they go, oh, heck no. You got to get it down.
None of us.
Nothing against Joe Garciola, but Joe Garciola used to come into town
and do a golf
and do some sports stuff, right? Baseball.
A golf day or
the golf, yeah, the golf.
Something, and then he stiffed them. and so everybody called it Rodeo Park because it was across the grounds from the Rodeo Park. We've always called it Rodeo. Y a nosotros no se importó, pero when you stop to think about it, it's very important that the Chicano, Mexicano kids know in that South Side neighborhood that it was a Mexicano who came and fought and occupied the park. Now, we all know about the Joaquin Murrieta Park and El Rio being occupied, and that's a great story, but how many people know about my dad?
Right. No, I thought...
My dad occupied
this is a great story because a lot of people don't know.
It was named for him because Steve Leal insisted, not that we insisted, right. But, you know, he insisted, and so, you know, now we have the park.
And that's a wonderful story.
That's what I came from.
We're luchones, activistas. We're talking with Isabel Garcia, a lawyer, an activist, a community person that's done so much. Not just, we're going to go into our second part that I urge you to watch. It's the second part interview because we haven't even touched Las Mujeres de Manso, the whole national and international activism and protection of rights, the work that she has done. Isabel, vamos a volver contigo en un ratito, la segunda parte, para que nos cuentes más porque no llegamos ni a 1960. So we're gonna come back with Isabel on the Latino USA TV, Arizona Barrio Stories. Don't forget, download the Latino USA TV app so you can watch it and continue to enjoy all these different interviews with really legends. We have a lot more coming. Raul Aguirre, La Voz, out of Tucson, Arizona.